Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hey guys. Hey everybody. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I can see me now, so that's all good.
Can you see me now?
Can you see me now? Anyway, that's an introduction for you. You're welcome. Welcome to live chat with Chris and Joey, because Chris basically owns half my channel now. She like
it's a we.
I basically sold my tits to Chris, just so you know. And well, one. I kept one for myself. So firstly, apologies, there's not going to be a views with verse today because of personal reasons for the other person. So we're going to do this live chat instead. We're going to talk about protection spells and warding as per the request for yesterday. It was on Chris's channel. That video is still up on, obviously, on Chris's channel. So if you want to go after this live chat, stay with us for the live chat. But if you want to go afterwards, you can check that out on Chris's channel. And we were talking about dream walking and dreams and such like yesterday.
And perspectives also, it kind of led into different perspectives.
Okay, Liz has just asked if the live stream hasn't started. Can someone hear me? Did I just do that whole introduction? Please tell me.
Oh no.
I mean, I can see the video. Like,
she might just need to refresh because sometimes that happens for me.
Melinda can see it. We're good. Good. We can hear me.
Fabulous.
Good. Hello to everybody in the chat. We have Liz and Dawn and Raydark. That's an awesome name. We've got Jen and Green Spirit and Dragon Iris and Great. My God, that is a lot of chat. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Okay, well, if your screen freezes, have a refresh so that it is working for other people. Hello to Kristen. Hello to Raven Dreamer. Hello to Michael. Hello to Lahivia. Is it Lahivia? I'm terrible with pronouncing things. I always get it wrong.
Lahivia. I think Lahivia.
And Kelly and Green Spirit. Have I got everybody? Gargoyle Mistress and Cora and Arwen. Hi, Arwen. I hope you feel better, Arwen. And Earthchild. Hi. Right. Okay. I've said hi to everybody. If you come later, you missed it. You missed me saying hi.
They can see, hear, and see now. They can see and hear important ghosts.
That could be the title of our autobiography. Can you see and hear our important ghosts?
Raven Dreamer is complaining because we're not calling her Magpie anymore.
I sent you magpie feathers. I sent you magpie feathers. That's how much I love you. Trade secrets for everybody else. Everyone else is like, where's my magpie feathers? Anyway.
I have feathers.
Chris,
you have your cloth down.
You have crow feathers. Okay, anyway, bringing it back. We're here today to talk about protection magic. Chris has notes.
I do.
Chris has notes.
Today I'm the Virgo. No.
It's kind of Capricorny. It's kind of Capricorny to have like planned us out.
Yeah, it's actually not like subcategoried like a Virgo would have done.
I'm more of a chaos Virgo. I would have had like it everywhere though. So okay, hey Nathan. So where do you want to start? What's your first bullet point, Chris? Protection magic.
Is the fact that when someone says words in protection, there are really two like main categories, which is your personal and your property.
Ooh.
Because it's not all one thing or the other. So which one do you want to hit first? Personal or property?
Well, always personal first then. I always want to hit personal first.
I think that's a good start anyway. Because you can't protect the other stuff if you haven't got yourself protected.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh God.
An hour of us dancing while humming. You're welcome, guys.
Actually, dancing and humming is a good way to cleanse to start off with. So I can tie it in. Sound's my favorite. Sound is my favorite for cleansing. So it's always good to have a cleanse before you start your protection magic, because you don't want to protect yourself if you're in a funk. And it kind of damages the protection magic anyway, because it's kind of like if you're radiating and you're bleh, then anything you put out
it's kind of like, have you ever, okay, this is for the women and the guys who like makeup, have you ever like been doing your mascara and then you got that one piece of mascara and then you tried to wipe it off before it dried and then it just smeared everywhere? It's like you didn't like clean the palette before trying to, you know what I mean? It's like that when you're funky and you try to make everything clean, but you're funky, you're just spreading the funk.
You're spreading the funk.
You're spreading the mascara across your face. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You can dance to strengthen your aura. You can dance to you can dance to cleanse. You can dance to reach to the sky.
Yes. You don't even have to dance. There are power stances too. And it's actually been proven to your brain that if you hold a certain stance for about 2 minutes, it changes like the chemical makeup of what's going on in your brain in that moment. It can change you from being like in a funk to confident or you know, whatever. Or like when you slouch and you're kind of, that can like bring you down.
And if you do quit like a queen, right? So I call it queen pose, which is when you're walking through it. You can do this sitting, but say if you're like outside and you're feeling a bit, because I'm quite introverted. So if I'm feeling a bit like the pressure of too many people, I'll put my queen pose on, which means head back, shoulders back, tits out. I'm here. Get out of my way. Do not crowd me. No. So the Wonder Woman stance. I'm going to see Wonder Woman this
love
weekend.
The Wonder Woman stance. That's the with your legs apart. Yeah. Well, Cris has already been out of her chair 10 minutes in.
It's gonna be one of those live chats. It's gonna be one of those live chats. Okay.
There's also the collie pose, which I really like too, which is where you break apart and you do this, and your legs are also mirroring it this way. So if you can imagine like and then you're like ha. The Maori do stuff that's similar.
Yeah.
In the kakas. But the power stances and the screams, because that's incorporating both. Good shit.
Hello, everybody who's just turning up. We're just having a quick talk about cleanse before we move on to protection.
Yes.
So Cris mentioned screaming, and I love voice work. I love it for protection, but I love it for cleansing especially. I have a sound bar, and if I ever like something's in my house, I'm like dong, and the sound bar it's like a metal bar on a wooden thing, and if you smack it, it'll vibrate, and the vibration carries on and gets quieter and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. So it does all frequencies. It's amazing. I love sound bars. I scream in my subconscious state, which I kind of mentioned yesterday in the dreaming topic. But if there's like something negative in my house, like a spirit that's causing problems, I am known to wake up screaming at whatever it is. And initially I was beating myself up. I was like, how long have you been a witch and you're still waking up screaming at these things? And then I realized, because
no, it's what works.
Because Babe said to me, think again. And I was like, oh, like
I love those moments.
Yeah. And because she's the death crow and she screams at things to like instill fear in them or kill them off, and that's what Babe does. So by me screaming at negative entities, I was actually like getting rid of them, like driving them off. So screaming is such a cleansing thing to do. It really can be. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I love and singing. If your house is in a funk, I know I sing randomly all the time, but
singing and dancing. I mean, honestly, it's really funny because a lot of people, when they're cleaning their house, sing and dance while doing it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of funny. It's like natural that we already do it.
Absolutely. Running water.
There's also. Yep,
we're gonna get into the herbs and running water and things like that in a little bit, because we've got a whole section planned for that later.
I got notes.
She got a section for that. So we'll get into the herbs and things in a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of give you a taste a little taste of freedom. No, a little taste of something cleansing, and then we'll talk about the next.
Yeah.
And we'll go into protection for the self. Do you want to start, Cris?
Protection for the self. So there's a lot of things that you can carry or do, but the first thing I want to talk about is what you imagine your barrier to be, like your visualization, your energetic practices. Fire breath is amazing. Side note, I saw that in the chat. Do you know what fire breath is, Joey?
Me after curry.
But
sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yeah, fire breath, and then I think it might be called dragon breath as well. But it's very like intense breaths that like push out the energy, essentially. And they also like help to build it. It's almost like running a mill kind of raises it. It's good for raising energy. So though the self. So when I do visualizations, I have a gyrosphere that I use. So like I have like 2 or 3 circles that are all spinning in different places around me on top of other things that I have, like different layers. But different people do different things. A lot of people imagine like a white light around them. That's kind of the standard that I found. Or like a bubble. Or like your personal space bubble.
Sorry. Owen, that's not your mouth it's coming from. How did you know? How did you know? I don't know what you mean. I'm a lady.
I mean, sorry. Yes, she is.
Anyway, auras and energetic shielding. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And as we go throughout our day, we can very easily pick up things anyway. From interacting, from our spaces that we're in, you know, all kinds of stuff. So it's good to kind of up your shields, up your wards, up your visualizations. There's also the 3-tap method, which is a Donna Eden method, where you tap here and here. Or wait, no, it's here, here, and then here, I believe. And it's like, it like brings you in. And it like, it's, yeah. And there's actually like, there's certain glands and certain points. Because it goes into like acupuncture and things like that, and acupressure. And it triggers certain things in your body as like, it's like a centering kind of exercise that kind of like zoop, brings your energy in and just like, whew, and it's like suddenly the world is so bright. So that's another one that's really good, because then once you bring it in, you can zip it up, which is another thing she does, is where you just imagine taking a zipper from your root chakra, bringing it all the way up, and then locking it at your mouth, which seals that in. It's putting your body in a body bag.
That is so morbid. I love it.
Right?
So I've been a big fan of mirrors, the mirroring technique. I love the mirroring technique. One of the first techniques I think I'd ever come across was like sitting yourself in a pyramid and the glass is facing outwards. So anything coming at is automatically deflected and reflected. This kind of evolved in my practice, because then I came into contact with my path full on, my more organic path, and then it became all about personal armor. I've had a couple of psychic armors throughout my journeying. I've had 3 actually, when I think about it. I had the one that I kind of initially came to and sort of put together, and then that kind of evolved. And then Morrigan gave me a new one. And the new one is all like black obsidian reflective. So it's all like mirrors in the armor. And that's this whole, I basically look like a dragon knight out of oh god, Skyrim. Out of Skyrim, I look like that, like the dragon's armor. Yeah. And so I really love psychic armor. And what the idea behind psychic armor is that you spend time psychically visualizing your own armor. And a lot of people go through like crafting it, and they think about the color and the fit and the feel and what feels right for them, which is what I did to start with. But then I had this whole meditative thing with Morrigan, and it was like, it was the weirdest shit ever. It felt like parts of my skin like lifting and like black smoke coming off and then being replaced with black armor, and it was kind of like this and I was like, what is this? And it's all black obsidian, which is one of my favorite crystals. It's a more organic crystal. It has that fire earth correlation to me, which makes sense to me given my astral makeup. So I absolutely adore that kind of psychic armor feel. You can also do like a shield, and you can have weapons as well in the psychic weapon and armor stance. And you know that.
Or you can also become the weapon as well. One of my shields is actually the ball of a morning star. How it's like that metal sphere that has spikes everywhere.
She has a spike.
That will be around me. Yeah. And it'll be tipped with poison. So if you hit it, it hurts you, not me.
do not mess with Cris.
Just saying. And also, if nothing else, I have Phoenix form, which you've experienced yourself with me.
I have taken on your Phoenix form.
Yes.
I also enjoy shadow work for shadow melding for protection, which means melding into shadow form in order to evade. That means good luck finding me.
I feel like that happens a lot with the kind of goddesses that we work with too. Because Hel and Hecate both have that as well.
Yep. It's definitely an underworld goddess type of thing. It kind of has a shape-shifting thing. It also works given that both you and I have nocturnal animal and night howlers as night howlers. I just realized that's from Disney's thing Utopia. But yeah, so you have wolf, and wolves kind of shape shift in and out, and they kind of like, they can be stealthy, and they can kind of walk in the shadows and sort of sneak up when they want to. And foxes are exactly the same way. So I think that is an underworld / our own energies thing that, you know, I'm gonna literally shift in and out of shadows or which plane I want to be in, and I've learned to do this so effectively that I just do it with automatically now. So I'm like, oh, some shit's coming over here, and then shift, and then that kind of happens with regards to evasion. It's an evasion technique. So it's a good point, actually.
It's like we're the best rogues in the game. No.
Stealth. Anyway.
Pickpocket. No.
I would be so terrible if I was a rogue. I'd be like, oops, there go your trousers. Anyway, that's synchronicity, Alex. Welcome to Joey's Fox Talk. Da, da, da. So there's two kinds of protection work here that we've mentioned. One is kind of more of like a barrier work, and the other one is evasion. So they are separate. They are different. They are a different technique, if you like.
There is also offense.
There is also. I was getting there. I was getting into offense. So yes, there is also offense. There is also. I mean, you could put return to sender in with offense. Maybe it's kind of in the middle between defense, and it's like, if you give me it, I'm going to elastic that shit right back to you, and you're going to suffer it. It's kind of in the middle. But offensive is more like basically Cris is protruding spikes with poison on them, and if you attack.
And the thing is with that is that for me, it's very much like Thurisaz, the thorn, is where like you only hurt yourself if you throw yourself on it.
If you're only going to get damaged if you come after me.
Connected to my shield, but if you come at me, that's your own
choice,
exertion, your own momentum.
Actually, reflecting the energy that they've put into aggressive magic is the best way of deflecting it back. If you can siphon that energy back onto them, all that energy they put into tires them out, and then they're getting it back, so it tires them out again. So there's that.
Mm.
Cris, attack. Gothic.
That's what I was laughing at too.
It's the
But also there's attack, Joey. No. That's actually not my first place I go. The only time I bring that up is when it's really something that's needed and they're not getting the message.
The only time I go there is when somebody will not stop. And it's like you've been given a chance to stop, you've been given a chance to be honorable, you've been given a chance to shut up, and you still, and if you push me and you push me and you push me some more, then we'll get aggressive. But that's not the first place I go either.
Well, it's kind of like the wolf thing is to growl first to warn. There's the line. You're getting close. All right, you're over it. Now you're getting bit. Let's see. So there's that. There's something else I wanted to mention, and
Thorn magic. Magpie mentioned thorn magic again.
We can talk about that.
If you like. I like thorns too, Magpie. It's the favorite child syndrome again. I'm feeling very left out. Anyway, so I love blackthorn. I love hawthorn. I love the two of those. They have a slightly different energy. Hawthorn is perhaps more of matters of the heart. Blackthorn is a little bit more aggressive.
I like blackthorn.
I like them both. I think they both have their place. I like it a lot. They both have a fey element to them as well, which is nice. Or gods, depending on where you are along the Celtic path, because the Celtic gods became fey because of the monks. So I love the whole creating a hedgerow or creating a barrier, very Maleficent-esque, of just thorns. Like if you're going to try and get through there, you're going to scratch yourself up doing it. So
yeah. And see, that's interesting that you take the earth there, because I tend to take a wall of fire response. Like thorns are great, and I do really enjoy it. There's an energy to blackthorn that I really have always really, like, even before I had some in my hands, I was like, you, I like you. But no, I tend to, and maybe it's the Phoenix thing, I tend to go full on fire and just burn it out.
I tend to use my fire in a more cleansing way, and then bring the earth up as the barrier. So the fire in me would be for like burning all the whatever away, as we found out recently, and then the earth comes in as like a barrier afterwards. So that's like kind of my makeup is earth and fire, like I said. So the fire comes in and gets rid of it, and then makes the ground fertile, and then the earth grows from that point. So
yeah.
In terms of, that's very sort of abstract, but that's basically using elements in order to protect oneself.
I tend to take the metal orb that I spoke of, and I will turn Phoenix inside of it and heat the metal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Oh, I like it. You're going to burn yourself. Yeah. That's that.
And not only that, but when metal is heated, it becomes something that is fluid and can move around and shift to where it needs to be.
Yes. So it does have a different take on it, because that's almost like evasion, but on the offensive.
Right, because it's still like it's fluid and it moves, but then it can freeze, and kind of like I've described hell as moving. How she's like fluid in your face. Like it's very playing with time.
I do like void work as well. I do like this is something that I do a little bit, especially if something is gone on for way too long, is I enjoy protection in a void space, and I enter what I call the cosmic egg. Yes. So I get myself and I enter into a cosmic egg space, and sometimes I will sing, and then I will set it up around myself and like be submerged within a void space, and it's basically darkness, and it's basically the safest place on earth, even though it's complete darkness. And this is why I keep saying to people, darkness is not like this all-encompassing evil scary thing, because being in that womb space is the safest place there is. And apart from the great big black dragon snake worm that is in there, which I found out last time I was in there, I was like, hi.
Hi.
Oh, hi. I was like, hello. It is. It's a real darkness, and it's a safeness and things like that. We haven't actually mentioned calling spirits to protect us. I haven't.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But I do want to say, Arwen said that she uses water more, and water is also a really good one because we've been mentioning earth and fire a lot, but air and water also are good, and spirit, which you just mentioned. But like water, I usually suggest for people who are empaths and really like don't know how to filter a lot. A lot of times, I will suggest that they essentially imagine a waterfall around them. And that water is filtering everything constantly as it falls, so that things can pass through, but they become affected by that water, right? So it's a filter, which is also still a barrier.
And you could imagine sediment coming out as well while you were doing it. So you could visualize it. I like it. I do
and
that.
There's also the big waves of rush water, and because it can be aggressive too.
I tell you what, I do use water like that, like running water over my hands, and that tends to be for physical illness though. If I'm like physically sick, and I feel physically sick, because water's my go-to for healing. So if I'm physically sick, I need to cleanse and protect myself. Running water is a thing that I go for.
Arwen says rapids are hard to get past, and that's true. That's what I meant by like you can also get that rush, because the rush of water is strong too. Every element has its more docile and it's more aggressive. Even light and dark, in terms of that, like speaking that way, light can blind and burn.
Yeah.
But we don't tend to think of it first. We think of it in another way first.
I do. That's where I go with light. The first time I go, because I'm topsy-turvy backwards. I'm like, no, if we go into a light space, I'm going to blind.
But that's like, okay, we go back to the surround yourself in white light.
Yeah, I never did that.
Well, when you think of it in the aspect of, but light also blinds and burns. It's a lot more badass than you thought, right? If you use wind, you could have a gust or a gale. Yeah, you can have the wind come through.
You could levitate. You could be raised up with like air. You could like raise yourself out of a situation.
And that also can go into voice work really easily, because that's breath.
I like it. I like it a lot.
And spirits. So spirit works.
So calling spirit guides, calling ancestors, calling higher self, and spirits of the land, ocean and sky, in order to protect oneself is a fairly regularly mentioned thing. I think, do people need us to go into calling spirit guides and things like that, or is that something people are pretty okay with?
Well, I'll say one thing about my ancestors. I'll say this regardless if y'all want it.
Listen.
Because it's half my channel now. No, I'm just So, my ancestors encircle me, literally. They form a sphere around me at all times. And especially like if you even think about it in a tangible sense of the fact that they are the dirt that I walk on, they are in the air, you know what I mean? They're in everything. So they are constantly protecting me. So they are also a shield.
My ancestors get quite aggressive if you try and attack me as well, especially since I've been connected. If you connect me, or if you come after me or mine, my ancestors will start screaming at either me or Cris, but they will start screaming.
Yeah, that's a thing. My ancestors came to me the other night and were like gathering. Like they gathered in my living room. I'm texting Joey and they're gathering in my living room, and I'm like, hi guys. What's going on? Then I'm like, Joey, there's something about to go down. I don't know what's happening, but yeah. So we ended up figuring it out, but that's a perfect example of like, they'll show up and it's like, who called the meeting? I didn't know. No one gave me a memo.
Yeah.
So they'll also, that's a form of protection too, because it's a forewarning, a foreshadowing that gives you a heads up as well.
Forewarned and forearmed. The best tools in protection.
I only have 2 though.
Do you? Are you sure?
well, in this form. Yeah, as someone was talking about mirrors earlier as well.
Well, I did mention mirrors. I mean, you can have
Yeah.
physical mirrors as well. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I love those. You know those little mosaic tiles you can get in craft shops?
Yes.
You can buy those. You can put a little rune on the back and stick them in your window, and they're tiny. So it doesn't matter.
Hold on. Keep talking.
Okay, she's going to go show me that she's done this already. Okay, bye, Briar. So you can get these tiny little mosaic tiles. You can put like a rune on the back, and it could be whichever rune or a rune binding, and you can put that in your window. And that's a really good trick if you're in like rented accommodation or in uni or anything like that, and you don't want to draw attention to it. So it's a really small but really effective reflection technique. Have you got one? Is that what's coming?
There we go.
There we go. I'll click over.
This is just ribbon with glue and 2 little circle mirrors glued together. And then we did the, what's it called? The etching cream that you put on mirrors to draw sigils in. And this is one of mine. But that's one thing. And these can hang in mirror or hang in windows or anywhere, really.
I'm trying to figure out how to get it back to flicking now because I had to click on you.
Oh, if you unselect me so that the white border goes away, it'll just keep flipping.
Well, I was trying to unselect you. There we go. I've learned something. Arwen had this amazing mirror box video. I think it's a mirror box.
Oh, yeah.
So if you haven't seen Arwen's mirror box video, go check that out because that was awesome. And that was about amplification of things to the... Was it a video, Arwen, or was it like a post? I may have just sent people on a wild goose chase now. It might not be a video. I remember you talking about it because I was like, oh my God, I love it.
I don't know. Melinda, she said that's the exact image I put on my candle before this chat has been with me all day. So this symbol, anyway, you'll see with me a lot. Like, it's also right here. It's on my wedding ring. And it's the earth symbol, but it's also a medicine wheel, and it's also the Odin's cross.
It's also used for Brigitte in the Celtic pantheon.
Exactly. Yeah. So it has a lot of different meanings.
Oh, the banishing pentagrams and place. I like placing pennies in the corner of the house. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and that also goes, like, we could look at even Catholicism today, where they place the coins, the saint coins, in like windows and things like that. Which I'm sure that's where that came from.
So just while I think about it, we're talking about putting mirrors and things in doorways and windows and things because they are in between spaces. And
gates and portals on the list.
Ah, right. I'm probably skipping.
No, we can. Yeah, go ahead.
So I love in between spaces. Like when I felt awful a couple of nights, like I had insomnia. I've not been sleeping all week actually, but I had really bad insomnia one night, and I literally came downstairs, opened the back door, and sat in the doorway to feel better. So I love in between spaces, but the general thinking goes that in between spaces can act as portals and literal doorways and spiritual doorways, and they can allow things in and out if we're not careful. There is some interesting mythology with mirrors and doorways as well. Some people say that if you line up your mirrors to your windows, you can accidentally invite spirits in, and they kind of get trapped in between the window and the thing and the mirror. Some people use mirrors and have them reflecting at the doorway, so that it basically reflects it straight back. I think it tends to differ depending on what your
that's the number one thing with mirrors that I've noticed is that everybody, like, first of all, there's always a strong reaction to them. So you either love them or you hate them, or like you love them or you're terrified of them even. There's some kind of like variance there. There's no like, mirrors, it's all right, ever. And but also it depends on the person and how they're thinking of it too, I think, because some people, like for instance, you place the mirror to reflect on the outside of the house, but some people place them backwards on the outside of the house to reflect inward too. I've heard of people doing that as well. So depends on how, like, it depends on a lot on your intention and how you, like, connect with it. And your own practice in learning that, too.
I promise we'll get to salt, Magpie. We've got salt.
Yes, salt everywhere.
It's the witchy cure-all, salt.
Yeah. Just throw salt at it.
Yep.
Yeah, but mirrors are actually a big part of my work. You guys can see the giant mirror behind me that is spelled and dedicated to hell. And then there are several others in my house. When I am cleansing and doing wards, I take special care with those and windows and drains, any drains, doorways, that kind of stuff. Any gates or portals or in-between spaces.
I'm just checking something. I said I'd keep an eye on. I won't be a second. Okay, it's fine.
Spikes in the corners. Yeah, railroad spikes are a good one.
Oh, I love iron.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, iron is so... There is something about iron. And it's said, you know, that Fae take issue with iron. And I wouldn't go too far in, like, having too much iron, just in case you irritate the Fae.
I think it depends on the Fae, personally.
You know, I was thinking that, like, I'm sure it doesn't stop all of them. Like,
well, okay, so let's look at, like, I mean, Fae is more of a Celtic phrase, but let's look at, like, the Svartalfar, so the dark elves, the dark dwarves, in terms of Norse stuff. They live in the deep of a mountain and build things out of metal.
So they would love iron.
They love iron.
Yeah.
I have a few. They don't tend to like people a lot, but they love iron.
Just so you know, Radar Arc is contradicting what you said about mirrors.
Where? I didn't even see
Radar Arc, I don't have strong feeling about mirrors
at all. I don't care one way or other about them. I'll work with them during spell work. Well, then, good for you. You are one of the few that I've met. Good.
There's always an exception to the rule. Always.
Of course. But in my experience so far, you're one of the first. Let's see. I also have a mirror on a staircase facing the front door. He's like, "Can I get a cookie?" Well,
yes.
You know what? Yes, but it's gonna have to have that mirror glaze on it in honor of this conversation.
It's got to be like a representation of the mirror. Yeah.
Always finding old nails at their shops. Old nails are great. I love rusty old.
I'm playing with my cards because divination is also something you can bring into your
Yes, that's a good one. I didn't have that down. Yeah.
So if you feel like you might be under attack, divination is a really good source of identifying if you are, where it's coming from, what steps you need to take. Sometimes you can even pull, like, if you're pulling like full on tarot cards, you could pull like an element to work with in order to which is the element best to work with to regards to dealing with this, and it can give you insight into the overall situation in general. So is this a person? Is this me and I'm reflecting my own junk back at myself? Is this what
it helps you see into the occasion from different masks.
And the cards say to me that it is our responsibility to look after our protection magic. It's our instincts that tell us what we need to know, and we have to be careful of resistance to our instincts. There you go. This is
with the flow.
Connected and Free Alchemist Oracle by Inner Hue, which is my favorite.
That's pretty. I like that one. It reminds me a bit of the Wild Unknown.
That's why I like it so much, probably.
Yeah.
I'm going to find the fox for you all just while we do this. There he is. Fox there. She changed this. If you buy it now, it's not the same card, but this is one of the reasons I bought this deck.
Ooh.
And it's called Heart.
You know what? You've showed that picture to me. Yeah. I remember now.
And she's changed it. I was like, no! Why? It's my favorite. Anyway. Talking to fox. Okay, Chris, take over 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm
Yep.
here, but there.
Doing it up. Okay. So another way to protect your home, since we're talking about that stuff now, is geraniums. Red geraniums are like a classic protection. A lot of witches would use them around their home. Circle around a tree out front, by the front door, the gate door. Yeah, that's another one. Someone was saying holly in the four corners, I believe I read. Yeah, it's holly bushes.
So something that I do is that I take stones from my property usually, and I will draw a different ogham on each stone. So each stone is then a tree stone, and it becomes like a seed, but in like a symbolic form. So it is a stone, but it transmutes into a seed. So it is between something very, very still, very stoic, and something alive. So it is life and death in one moment. And then I put an ogham on it. So this one is hawthorn, this one is blackthorn, this one is oak, this one is ash, for example. And then I will put those in the corners of my property, and I will energetically bring a tree into each corner of my home and protect it. It's very similar to how I cast circle when I bring the four quarters in with trees. But it adds this rootedness that I really enjoy in terms of protecting. I mean, that's kind of switching over into home protection. Are we switching into home protection now?
Apparently. People are talking about, brick dust is another one, black salt. There's also egg powder.
Oh yeah.
Crushed eggshells.
Yep.
That's a good one. There are waters that you can make.
Yep. I mean, I make 2 brick dusts for the store because I love brick dust so much. And brick dust has this amazing history. Now, what it is mostly known to be along with voodoo and that element and that side of things. But red ochre goes back a lot further. It's like primordial. It's caveman mentality, like protection of the cave almost. And you can see them painting things with their hands in red ochre in order to protect themselves.
There is something about those pigments, isn't there? Those earth and clay pigments.
Yes. This is foreshadowing. This is foreshadowing, right? I'm not going to tell you any more. That's it. That's all you get. So it goes a lot further back, and I have 2 for the store. I have one that's like your general protection, and then I decided to make one that was very much incorporated with a dark energy of darkness in order to get rid of like aggressive malicious spells. So you can adapt your own sort of brick powers. It doesn't just have to be like barrier work. You can play with it, and so that it can do different things.
So everybody's starting herbs and things like that.
Witch jars, well, yeah.
Witch jars are okay, so witch jars are really one thing that I love to do with witch jars is I actually like to make them a grid. So like think of like 5 witch jars, one at each corner, and then one in the center of the house that you can open to up your boundaries when you need to. And they're connected to all of the others by like a thread, if you will.
Magpie's determined. We're going to talk about herbs.
We will talk about herbs, Magpie. Give it a second.
Breathe.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. She's like, thorns, calendulas, plants.
Witch ball ornaments. I make witch balls. Didn't?
Yes.
I don't call them that. I call them spell orbs.
They're spell orbs. Oh God, you're home. Come on. There we go. Here is a
Wolf Witch of La Morica.
Oh, the cheese. Now, it's reflecting horribly, but it's gorgeous, and you don't know. But it's gorgeous. There we go. Well, that, yeah.
So, Evil Eye, yes. Actually, while we're talking about witch balls, before we
Evil Eye, Hamsas.
Amulets.
Yeah, jewelry was one of them.
I'm going to go get something. So
yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to do a show and tell. I will be back. I will be back on my own live stream. I'm going to just flick it over to Chris for a minute. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right. So witch balls are great. I have Where's my red one? Oh, that one's in hiding right now. But I do have one of the glass ones too, the blown glass that are spotty and they're already closed that you can get. And then you can also make your own from the little ornaments that you buy during Yule and Christmas. I see a head. What is happening?
Hi. I thought I'd come back as a fox. I was coming back in like fox, like sneaky. Right. So I wanted to show you guys this. Come over here. Right. So this is a black thorn, and you can.
That's the Willow.
And you can see the spikes. And the Morrigan basically guided me to do this. This is before I knew very much about. No, that's not true. Before I got back into doing runic work so much. And so you've kind of got the
Willow.
And you've got thorn in there, and and then you have the crow feather. And if you can see, there are spikes.
Yeah.
On both sides. And so this is one of my amulets that I was called to make by myself. So, and it also has the downward triangle. You can make arguments for it being both fire and earth in that position because there is a line across in the middle. So again, fire and earth without me even thinking about it. But there you go. So that's an amulet. Protective charm. There we go.
Yeah, you can definitely make. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see here. I'm going to click me up so I can see what you're seeing. That's one I made.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And that is a dream catcher with a snake amulet with a serpentine eye in it. And I had some extra thread one day and was like, what can I make? Oh, I'll use this for a snake. Now I need something to hang it on. And that happened. See.
I've been guided by the Morrigan to do things, Lisa. Me
Yes.
too. It's interesting how when you listen to things like that, it's only afterwards you see all the bits and pieces as they sort of weave into this interesting tapestry of protection.
So, yeah, using animal figurines as well as fantasy creatures to protect the home. See him?
No,
that's Norton. Right there. Not this horn, but this guy. And Norton protects my gateways. Norton always is looking towards a door or a window. In this case, he's looking towards the window. And I've had him since I was like 13, and he's always guarded my room, like my witchy room. So he's one of the because I'm an earth sign and protection magic is like my favorite. So there's layers to this shit, guys.
That is an earth sign thing. I've always loved protection magic.
I am told that, like, I mean, everyone is interested in it, but earth signs just automatically like add layers and layers and layers and layers. But I don't know. Maybe. From my understanding, it is though. Is he a goblin? Yeah, he's a little goblin. He is supposed to be a garden statue, but he was on a shelf all by himself. And I was like, nope, you're coming home. You're going to be my friend. I will call you Norton. And you'll help me protect my home. And he has necklaces and things hanging on him, which you can't really see from here. But yeah, he's my buddy. But there's also servitors that you can summon to protect your home.
Yeah.
So spectral things.
Yeah. I have a blackthorn spirit that protects my home. So we will go into herbs in a minute, but I have a it's not really a poppet. but it looks like a poppet. I don't know what you would call it. What was
Just
the
keep
right
saying
term?
poppet. I like to hear that in your accent.
Poppet.
Poppet.
I swear she's doing this so she can like make like text noises and sell them on iTunes.
Yes. I'm gonna get a text and it'll be poppet.
And that's the spirit of a blackthorn that works and protects my home. And would you say, is it between a poppet and a fetish, do we reckon? I suppose it is a fetish, really, because it's housing the spirit of the blackthorn.
A spirit vessel.
Yeah.
Like that.
And so the spirit of the blackthorn. Servitors need to be maintained, though, best to make them with a defined time limit as well, Michael. This is true.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not something you just kind of do and then forget about them.
No. And it's always good, especially if you're working with, well, I was going to say especially plant spirits, but it's slightly different. Okay, offerings for all, and being grateful for the assistance you've received. Because if you ignore something that is protecting your home and are like, nah, they're protecting your home. You invited them into your home. Good luck. Like it would be such a mess. So I like water offerings for blackthorn. It's nice and simplistic. You can even bring a little plant food in and things like that. It works really quite well. Or sometimes they request different things, like different plant spirits do request different things. Sometimes it's just easier with a drop of blood, because it's literally a drop of my blood for a drop of your blood in what you're giving. That depends on the spirit, though. I'm happy to do that with plant spirits. I would be more cautious in like the spirit realm, because that's tying yourself to things. But plant spirits tend to be kind of like give and take a lot more. They're osmosis. They are an osmosis-based life form, so the give and take is natural to them. They don't think about hoarding or controlling their plants, Servitors, are servitors similar to fetch?
My personal instinct is no. I mean, I guess they're similar in some ways, but like for me, your fetch is you.
Or an element of you. Or an extension of you.
And the servitor is
outside
something
of
that you summon.
Yeah.
Yes. So they're different in my eyes.
I mean, there's a similarity in kind of like summoning.
Yeah.
It being like spirit energy. There's a similarity in that way, but what they actually are feels different to me too. I think, yeah. Hi, Kitty.
So another thing, since we're talking about servitors and like maintaining and stuff like this, and also with plants and everything, is feeding your wards. Because that's really important. And that's like when I said that I like the idea of keeping a center jar that are connected to the other 4 jars. That's a way that I can feed that ward. Also, certain things can feed it. So like a lot of mine in terms of home and hearth would be laughter. Any laughter that happens in this house feeds that ward, right? To continue on.
I am going to address what Magpie just said, if it's okay, before you carry on. Yeah. So plant spirits deserve respect just as much as any other spirit helper. That's not what I was saying. Like, I respect plant spirits more than I respect perhaps more than I respect certain other energies. I just think they're less malicious. I think you're less. You can definitely get hostile trees. You can definitely get hostile plants, especially if like they are sick to death of humans, and rightfully so. Like if they've been like disrespected, if their land has been torn up, you can absolutely get angry, hostile plant energies. But naturally speaking, I think most plant energies are less malicious. They're more likely to work with you, especially if you do show them respect. So that's kind of what I meant by that.
Yeah, and Michael says they're in terms of servitors, they're thought forms created on the astral to do a specific task. Yeah, whereas like your fetch would not be that.
Oh, we've got crows in the garden. 3 of them.
Oh,
hi.
animals. So let's see here. So feeding your wards, gateways, portals, blah blah blah. There are stones that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
Stones, herbs, oils, jars. Oils. Okay, so Joey, one of the videos that I saw you doing, and you're one of the first people I've seen do this on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I got excited because I do it too, and I was like, oh, someone else does. Is taking an oil blend and actually marking, like physically the oil, marking your doors, your doorknobs, things like that. Because people don't tend to talk about that. They're like, look at this pretty protection oil I made, and then they're like, that's it. But
no, I had a doorknob in my video.
You use them, yeah, exactly. You can anoint your doorknobs. You can anoint the door itself. You can anoint your thresholds. You can anoint yourself. You can like, there's so many different things that you can. I have a protection oil that I use when I am doing traveling, and I will mark all 4 of my tires with it.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
See, I don't drive. That's not something I've thought of. I like that. That's cool. I know, Magpie. I just wanted to make sure you're okay over there. So my protection oil that I use most is the Blade Over Shield oil that I sell as well, and that stuff is also inspired by the Morrigan and like brought about through working with the Morrigan. And there's something about a good protection oil that I don't think you can beat. Like, I think it's more a go-to thing than even certain crystals or even certain things for me, because there's an element of invisibility with it. Like, you can mark yourself, and unless you've got like a dye in it, if you have just a clear one, it more or less looks invisible, especially on yourself. Or you can hide it quite nicely, or you can hide it what it actually is, so you can make it to be like a perfume, smells nice, smells sweet, and people are like, oh, you smell so nice, and you're like, mwahaha, for what it's really for. And you can do all sorts of things. You do that with, oh, thank you, Jen.
See, I down the rabbit hole says I paint an eye over my doors and windows with my protection oil. Yeah, that's lovely.
Forewarned and forearmed again. Absolutely.
Yeah. With doorways anyway, I like to paint sigils. Sigils are a big part of it too. What the heck? Sorry, seeing things today, guys. So doorways, things like that. Also your tea, your coffee, going back to the self for a second. When I get my coffee in the morning, I am known to put sigils in it. When I get my tea and I put honey in it, I will put sigils in it with the honey. I will stir it in a certain direction with that intent to infuse it, so that when I am putting it in myself, I am infusing myself. So there's small things in everyday rituals that you already do in the mundane that are automatically something you can make for protection.
You've clearly never bought one of my protection oils.
More protective if personally made than purchased protection oils. I think it depends on who you're purchasing from, not to be shady, but I do. I think it depends. No, this isn't Joey's words. These are mine. I take full responsibility for that.
Bye, I feel better.
I like Joey's oils, and I like other witches' oils. I also really like my own, but I think that unless in a lot of ways you know the witch, or you know what you're working with, or you've had a sample of their sort of energy, it might not blend with yours.
True.
So it's one of those things where it's situationally different. What?
Owen doesn't have time for that. She buys hers.
Yeah, and that's fine too. Like, if they work, then they work for you. I think that's something you kind of have to figure out yourself.
So I'm going to say right here, there are some witches or some pagans or some whatever. They basically make out that if you can't make that stuff yourself, then you've somehow failed and you're less magically protected and you're less magically yourself. That's bull. Like, we all have our strengths and weaknesses with regards to
everyone
magic.
has their forte.
And if you really want a good spell oil, but it's not really something that you personally feel that is your forte, maybe your forte is, I don't know, like sigil work, but you really want like an oil to do that sigil work with, go to somebody you trust and buy one and talk to them and listen to them and see how you feel about it. And it doesn't make you any less protected. Or
I think the key to what you just said is go to someone you trust.
Yeah.
Trust.
Yeah.
That's basically what I was saying, is that.
Well, why is olive oil not good for protection? Why not, Soul Sapling? That's what I would say to people who say that. I'd be like, why not? Explain to me why olive is not. You mean olive like Athena? Like Athena likes.
I mean, I would say Athena is good.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what I'm saying about like the compatibility of different things. Like, we are all each our own energy matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And so different things are going to work differently for people. Yes, there are the overall kind of general golden rules, but I say question that. Question everything. Try it out. See what happens. Because the only way you're going to know your personal energy matrix within the flux of things is to explore that, is to see like, okay, well, is this oil better than this oil? If I make this oil, do I feel protected? And always tap into that feeling of like, does this feel right or not? Do you feel protected? Do you feel comforted? Mm-hmm. If not, regardless of if it's your creation or a store's creation or a friend who's a witch's creation, trust that.
Mm. And that's kind of what Samantha Menzo just said, is if you're looking to get a protection spell, wouldn't you want it from someone who makes you feel protected? So yes, it's basically energy exchange is what we're talking about in that circumstance. So basically what you do when you're purchasing any spiritual item is you are trading money for an item. So you are basically giving an energy exchange, or you are saying, I value your work is worth it. I honor that you have created this thing, and the person, if they are integral who has made it, who'll be like, I honor that you have given me the energy and the finances, and I give you a part of myself, of my craft, of my practice, in order that you might then take this and use it as it was intended. And in terms of protection magic, that energy exchange is really important, because you are taking a part of that energy exchange and putting it around your barriers, around your home, even around yourself. So it's very much about energy exchange and things like that. I love olive oil. So anyone who came to me and was like, I don't like olive oil, I'd be like,
yeah. Let's see, we talked about chores. So sigils are something that you can make up your own stuff with. That's another thing. And yeah, you can use runes. You can use Ogham. Yay, I did it right. You can use Ogham. Or you can also channel symbols too a lot. Like if you ask your goddess, or your god or your ancestors, they will give you protective sigils.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's one of the first things that I got given with ancestor work was my guardian sigil, my sigil of my guardian. So one of my ancestors has taken on the prominent role of guardian, and that's how she put it. It's her.
And she is a spitfire.
She is a spitfire. And she had a symbol, a very specific symbol, and I'm not entirely sure what it means, but I use it, and she gave it me, and yeah. So absolutely, you can get. And I also, this might interest Magpie, is that when I was working a lot with bindweed, which by the way, we're going to talk about plants in a minute, bindweed is one of them amazing protection things, because it just kills anything around it. I got given basically an Ogham, like a symbol for bindweed, very much like the Ogham for trees. And that was a really interesting experience. Oh god, now I'm hungry. Christina D is talking about olive oil and bread.
Oh my gosh. So glad I ate before this. So to go back to stones really quick, because and jewelry, because that kind of ties together. Stones and jewelry. So stones anyway, like some of the ones that I carry, a lot of people like hematite. Some people do not. I love hematite. Hematite also has a mirror sort of aspect to it too. It is reflective. You have to be careful with that because it can also reflect your own shit back to you, as well as other people's. But that's good. I also like lava rock, the volcanic rock. It's healing, but it's also protective and grounding, and I just like it's an overall really nice stone. There's a lot of them, and you kind of have to find what vibes with you. Again, your whole matrix.
Basic rule of thumb, though, black and white stones are really good for protection.
Yes.
It's really nice to work with them in conjunction as well.
Obsidian, snowflake obsidian. That's actually a favorite of Hell's.
I am a big obsidian fan, which I mentioned in my earlier video for May favorites, and I mentioned obsidian armor in this one. So yeah, I'm a big obsidian. Just because it also reflects. It's also a reflective. Yep. It's used in scrying mirrors, so it's also divinational. So it means, again, forewarned or forearmed. It's a perfect crystal for all of that. It's just like, mwah. And selenite and black tourmaline is
selenite actually is
around your neck.
This is there's a selenite and then garnet, so it actually completes your chakras. It goes from your root to your top.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, and that's why I wear that a lot. Keeps me kind of cleared. Yeah, black tourmaline is lovely. I love tourmaline.
I have quite a lot of black tourmaline. I love the black crystals in general.
But you can also, your jewelry doesn't have to have a stone to be protective, and it doesn't even have to have a symbol to be protective even. You can infuse things.
So, for the most part, I don't like crystal jewelry. I don't, I'm really weird about it, and I don't like wearing crystals around my neck. I might shove a crystal down my bra, so that's a thing.
Yeah. Oh, I totally in my bra.
But crystals around my neck, sometimes I don't know, and I don't know whether it's just like personal preference because I don't like a lot of the aesthetics of crystal jewelry, or if it's something weird in my DNA, like that's too much earth on my body, get it off. I don't know, because I'm like made a lot of us. I don't. Well,
it could be the fact that you have a lot of like chest area organic stuff going on, so maybe that needs to be.
Cris, you've got a lot of chest area.
If that was what I meant, I'd have just said that. I think we all know this by now.
People might not know that I'm 90% breast. People don't know.
I mean, now they do.
Now they do.
No, because they know after that dress.
Oh, yeah.
The skeleton dress.
Yeah.
They know.
Okay, fair enough.
What was I saying though? Yeah. So you can even take like a black cord around your neck and charge it. And that can be your thing. It doesn't, or knots in the cord as well. That's also something I've done.
So what I would really like to do sometimes when I feel really endangered is sometimes I will take like a protective necklace and whatever it might be. Say it's a black cord. I'll put it around my wrist and then loop it across my receptive hand. And I wear it like down here. And it's kind of got like a weapon feel, like a armor feel to it. And I put, knot magic. You preempted me. And I put knots in it in order that it basically forms like knots, like barriers, like Did
I mention I'm wearing that oil you made?
Which one is that?
The Otherworld oil.
The Otherworld oil.
That heightens my psychic shit. I've been foreshadowing a lot today in our conversations, like even off of this chat. Let's see, it's not like first time. Yeah, okay, so that's the thing with having stones in your bra is by the end of the day, you take it off and then you forget, and then you hear chink, 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 and you have to go chase all of your stones all over the place. Crap, that was my only smoky quartz. Hold on, where'd it go? Yeah, this is my life. You'd think by now I'd be used to them being there. And then some days I forget, and I do remember that I have stones, and that happens. So I'll like slowly take off my bra to see, and there's nothing. Yeah, chain, metal necklace. Cora and Michael have mentioned that. An iron chain. gosh, there's also bags.
Yes, of course. Oh, wow.
Pouches.
That is all kinds of amazing.
I made this one. Thank you.
It's
yeah,
awesome. I
so
like it.
This is a good example. It's shoddily done, but this is a good example. So it's
I'm not
great.
laughing at you. I'm laughing at Magpie. Magpie's bringing it back to plants because we still haven't covered.
Of course. Okay, so it's braided, 3 different colors. All have a protective meaning for me. That white was once white. This is an old one. And then this is the pouch. And you can empty it and then remake another for the occasion. And this tucks down real nice so nobody sees it. And these are really good too. And so so this ties us into plants, Magpie, because you can actually keep herbs with you in
I
this.
was gonna say the exact same thing. Yeah.
One of the things that I love to keep in here is white sage. Because for me, white sage is a trigger. It brings me back to the powwows that I used to dance in. And so there is something about like smelling that and being on holy ground.
Yeah, ancestors and yeah.
And so I will keep it there, and with the heat of your body and everything, you can pull it out and go.
Yeah.
And it instantly brings you there. Which scent is a really big one with me. I actually was talking to Joy about that the other day. It's probably the wolf thing, but scent is everything to me. So I have a lot of scent triggers. So if you are strong on that, something like this would be really good.
So I said earlier, I really love bindweed for protection magic. So bindweed, I'm not entirely sure what the other name for it is. So bindweed is one of these hedgerow plants with the big white flowers, and it has these, and it basically grows parasitically around other plants. And if left unchecked, it will suffocate them. Very much like your ivies. Ivy's really good for this as well, because ivy can bring down buildings. So I love those, the herbs that bind is what's going through my head right now. I love the herbs that bind for protection magic because they encircle the entire situation, and they cling to it, and they create a barrier naturally around things. So the plants that bind and weave and it kind of has like a spiritual spiral effect as well. So it's kind of creating a spiritual symbol in its own plant etymology. I love plants like that. So, and it's often the ones that people are like, oh no, they're awful, let's cut them all down, blah blah blah. And it's like ivy and bindweed, and I'm like, no,
the dandelion queen speaks.
I love ivy. That's oh no.
Ivy is
Ivy is a beautiful woman with long golden hair.
Well, and another thing with that too is that the herbs make really good boons. The fire, pouches, things of that nature, binding things, not only.
So Down the Rabbit Hole asks if is bindweed shaped kind of like Morning Glory? Yes, it's got like a white trumpeted flower. I've got one on my Instagram. I took a photograph because it was the first one I saw of the year. So
the birds agree.
Yeah. Tweet, 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 tweet. Tweet, 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 tweet. Chris has muted herself. Fine. Go birdies, go.
I'm typing things. Don't worry about it.
Fair enough. True. Okay, so what else is good? Honeysuckle is also good. Yeah, it's a name for Morning Glory. The one that gets called bindweed is called Moonflower. Oh gosh, it's been a long week, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just tired hearing Carly. I love the hedgerow herbs, and creating kind of like a hedgerow energy to protection barrier work is really good as well. Anyway, in America we call it trumpet vine. Okay, so we talked about earlier how we create a barrier of like thorns and things, and creating like hedgerows as natural perimeters. It's a big thing in England, hedgerows. It may not be as big a thing in other places, but in England, hedgerows are everywhere, and they create borders of land. So bringing in plants and herbs and things that naturally grow in places such as hedgerows is a really good way of creating natural border barrier magic. And herbs are super multi-purpose. You can wear them, you can wash with them, you can grow them outside your home. You can, as earlier we talked about, plant spirits and fetishes and bringing in plant energies to the home. Into that's kind of like crossing over into a spirit realm. Anything else, Cris? Ways to use herbs?
Oh, I was just sharing your Instagram link. Hopefully that'll bring them to the flower.
Oh. That's my Instagram link in the chat. So if you want to go have a look at the bindweed, there's one on the page.
It brings it to the flower. Okay, cool.
Awesome. So thoughts on how to use herbs? How do you use herbs, Cris?
All the ways ever.
You can eat them.
You can eat them. You can drink them. You can wash your floor with them. You can wash your gateways with them, like your mirrors. You can put them in pouches around your neck. You can, did I say wash yourself with them? Because you can bathe in them. You can plant them in certain areas, like by your gates in the front and such. You can burn them because they're smudges.
Rue is a good one. I love rue, green spirit. I love rue. Yes. Oh, Rue's so awesome. Good. And nettle.
Rue is actually one of the first like baneful herbs that I worked with. So it's kind of like it has a special place in my heart.
That's a good point. Right. You can also work with the baneful herbs. You can work with the poison herbs because they are the most protective flower/herbs there are, if you ask me. Poisonous herbs, my goodness. I love poison plant work. Because they are naturally deadly in a lot of cases, they don't take no prisoners. And if you don't treat them with respect, you're going to get murdered, basically. You eat a poisonally deadly plant because you weren't being aware, you're going to die. And I love that. I love poison plant work because it's so naturally protective. It's like you don't mess with it. And it puts off that energy. You don't mess with it. You treat it with respect. You form a relationship. And even working with the energy of, like, I have little jars of poison herbs and I sort of create a connection to the energy of that plant. And even working with them is a trip. It is a trip. Yes, Sarah Ann Lawless does have good information on bindweed. I also have some good information on bindweed on my channel, on a video. Because I love it.
Oh, belladonna, yes.
Belladonna.
Do I have that out? No, hold on. Continue.
I also like hemlock. I love, because hemlock freezes situations. It's just like, nope. So hemlock is really good for protection magic. But poison herbs kind of also, they inhabit the in-between space between life and death. They're kind of a, hang on, I'll wait for Cris to come back. I would say that poison herbs are a fluxy herb because they are in between the spaces of life and death.
Definitely. So this is belladonna in an oil.
Oh, nice.
And of course it has a carrier, so you're not gonna like fucking poison yourself. But belladonna in oil, very good for protection. Very good, especially at your pulse points.
Also, belladonna was used in the eyes to dilate pupils in ancient Italy. So it also has that foresight thing. Increase your eyes, increase your vision. Plus prophetic dreaming and things like that.
Yeah,
we talked about yesterday, and ointments and things. Right, we're coming up of about time for Joey, and Joey has to be gone on time today. So are there any questions from chat?
Dun dun dun.
Everything.
Oils, jars, herbs, sigils. Being words of power, which is vocal witch stuff.
We kind of covered that with screaming, kind of, and singing. Kind of.
Stating business. Blah blah blah.
Are there any more questions?
I mean, the thing here is, if you guys haven't noticed, the options for protection are pretty much fucking endless. There are many, 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 many things. And you kind of just find what works for you.
But with anointing yourself with poison, aren't you poisoning yourself slowly? Well, do you smoke? Do you drink?
Are you asking the death midwife if she's scared of dying? Joey's gonna die.
Joey's gonna die right now. No need for poison.
No, it's first of all, this isn't like a full dosage. This isn't
okay. It's
like
yeah. Anything can kill you in the right amount. Yes. Anything can kill you in the right amount. It's knowing what you're doing, and the body regulates itself anyway. Your skin sheds, you go to the toilet, you sweat. Everything is removed from the body. The body takes care of itself. As long as you take care of your body, you'll be fine. Just don't overdose. Michael
says even a doctor would tell you that most medicines are poison when taken wrongly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you take too many ibuprofen, you can kill your liver.
Yeah.
Or ibuprofen, as you guys say, I believe.
No, it's ibuprofen. You're good.
Oh, good. Oh, good. No, I've heard someone who's English say it that way.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, what? This hurts my head.
Everything is poison. It's the dosage that makes it poisonous. Yes. That was Magpie. What is a quick guide to knowing what is paranoia or a harmful energy, especially helping others? Melinda. So I read a really good quote by, and I've forgotten his name, the guy that does the Penzak. Penzak said that if you feel that you are under attack, you are, because your mind makes it real.
And that's really, that's like a whole other video, isn't it, Joey?
Yeah.
Just talking about that topic. The fact that your mind...
Next week's live chat.
Oh, sounds like.
Mm-hmm. But if you feel you're under attack, you are, because your mind makes it real. So cleanse, protect. There's no harm in cleansing and protecting yourself in that circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
The whole chat is now talking about overdose and poisoning yourself.
Right. Yeah. Do not. And when I say this, okay, so when we're talking about herbs and we're talking about baneful herbs, I do want to say though that like get to know them before you use them. Seriously.
Do not be licking poisonous herbs.
No.
Do yellow spirits mean caution?
I mean, yellow spirits on The Sims mean that they piss themselves to death. That not
there you go.
Going? Sorry.
There you go.
I'm gamer, probably. Oh dear.
Have you touched on using graveyard dirt for protection? Actually, we haven't.
Good. And that's a big one.
Good point.
Yeah.
I love graveyard dirt. So graveyard dirt is, because it's synonymous with like death. It's again in the in-between spaces.
Also, it is that time. So just letting you know.
I will be quick.
Yes.
So this is going to have to be the last question. So sorry about that, but I've got time. I've got to go. So graveyard dirt inhabits the in-between spaces of like the decaying, the dead, and it sort of takes on that energy. So it can be really good for like sucking down anything that you don't want in your home, like any spells or whatever. It literally sucks it down into the underworld and like recycles it, basically. It's no, don't leave us. I have to. I have to. There are things to do, places to be.
If you guys give us a few more things, like message one of us or something, we'll do another protection one, because seriously, I could talk about this for days, Joey.
We can do a protection part 2 on Chris's channel.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I tell you what, take all your questions and send them either to me or Chris.
Yep.
You can leave them down below in the question bar when this video is just a video. Yes. Or message one or the other, and we'll do a part 2. And I will talk about graveyard dirt in that, because graveyard dirt I can talk about for a good 10 minutes, and I'm not doing it justice by just fitting it in at the end. So we will do it. We'll do a part 2. I promise. Do it. Do it.
Yep.
Do it.
Leave a comment or find either of us on Facebook or on here.
We'll make a list. Hashtag Earth sign.
Yep.
Right, my darlings, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being awesome as always, chat. Come join us for this part 2, which will be beginning of next week sometime whenever Cris is free, because I work around
I'm free until at least Tuesday. So
Monday.
Monday?
We'll do it Monday.
That works.
Okay, so Monday we'll come back. We'll chat about some more protection work with you guys, especially some graveyard dirt, because I loves it. And that's it for me. Oh, did you want to plug anything before we go, Cris?
You can find me at www.chrisashburn.com. That is CRIS, no H. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube itself under the same name. So if you guys are interested in death midwifery, intuitive spiritual mentoring, tarot reading, spirituality just led from the heart, anything like that. All links are down below. Ancestral work as well. Yeah. Ancestral work is big for me. So, yeah. Or if you're interested in someone who works with Hell or Hecate, that's also a thing. So, give me a look, guys. It was a pleasure talking to you. And as always, it's a pleasure being on Joey's channel. I love her face and all of yours.
Our channel. Our channel.
This is a hostile takeover. No.
It's not so much hostile as just.
It's not. Give me your channel, Joey. No. All right. I love you guys. Thank you.
And I've been Joey Morris. I will still be Joey Morris tomorrow. That's always been a weird sign off. I've been Joey Morris. I still am. Anyway, you can find all my links in the down bars. You can find my Instagram in the chat right now. But all the links are down below. You can find me on my channel. You can find me on Facebook. My store is Story Eyed Supplies.
Buy some of her lovely protection oils. Plug.
Yes, I do in fact sell protection oils. Should you wish to buy some, Blade over Shield is my favorite.
And your salts.
Yeah. So that's it. We plugged. Peace out.
Yep, we're done.
Much love. See you guys later. Bye.
Hey guys.